Somebody talks about productivity. Are these your favorite topics as well? Yes? Of course, diba? Pandemic has come. But now, we're well beyond or after the pandemic. And believe me when I tell you, when we are asked, because they say we're thought leaders, right? When we are asked, Myron, give me 2 of the foremost values that companies should possess and live by if they want to succeed or succeed more in the post-pandemic era or generation. So I would always tell them, actually it's not only me, a lot of experts, locally and abroad, would tell you the same thing. Oh, 2 of the most important values that companies should learn, love, and live by should be, number 1, everybody, could you please say this with me? Innovation. Innovation. And number 2, yes, productivity. So whoever thought of these topics to be the highlight of this 1-hour talk, could we please, give that person a big round of applause? Who's that person? Merly? Who's that you? Who thought of those topics? Okay, palakpakan natin. Let's give our hands for Merly. Agree with me that one of the usual responses of not only employees, but the managers themselves would be this. Sige nga, could you please say it out loud with feelings as if you're actually saying it? Go. Alright, join me. Let's just do things the way we've been doing them. They're still working anyways. Changes are expensive. Real talk. Real talk. Right? Ano pa? That's just one of the reactions or responses. Can you also share with me another response or reaction every time there's an effort to innovate, which would entail change is coming? And then they would say, not change is coming, change is scamming, right? Anyone? What else? Said, at the back of your head, you have a vision, right? A vision is not just a statement you write in your company profile. It's not just something you declare. It's something that you really aim for, you really execute and achieve, correct? So where are you right now? Are you almost there? Still too far from it? Or working your way towards it? Where are you at right now? Development. Almost there, right? On your way there. Okay. But I know that for you to get there, right, you need to be productive. Productivity is a fixture when you're talking about manufacturing. Because customers or clients have a requirement. They have a demand. Let's say they need 100,000 molds, so you need to be delivering those, right? So manufacturing really is a numbers game. Agree? It's a numbers game. But do you know that the moment you become transactional, and we're gonna touch on that topic more later on, the more you become transactional, the more you move yourself away from your vision. So, if you don't want to be transactional, you need to know what the connection is between innovation and your target of productivity. So the question is, how are they interrelated? How are they connected to each other? 1, you make changes. Yan. So at the beginning of my talk, I was just talking about change and what your usual reaction to changes is. Yan. So you make changes. You make changes for the heck of it? No. You make positive changes that will make your operational excellence better than before. Right? When you innovate, what does it say? You do something in a new way. Right? Innovators are, I can't say this in English, so I want to say this better in Tagalog. Madaling magsawa. Are you like that? When something is already very routine, just like what I said earlier, transactional, right? Repetitive, right? You don't want things like that anymore. I want to come up with a better, unusual, or new way of doing things. It's like what you were doing 2 years ago is very obsolete na. You want to do something that sounds 2024. That sounds 2025. That's innovating. And last but not least, when you're innovating, you begin or introduce something new for the first time. So anyone here who would be happy to share that he or she has introduced something new or for the first time in this company, and that something has helped you in achieving whatever your strategic goals and objectives are? Anyone? Because I would love to recognize you. I may be an outsider, but let me be the one to praise you. Anyone? Anyone who has introduced something? We're gonna dissect the word. Look, of course I'm just making this up, right? But still, it makes so much sense if you are creative enough in imagining this. So we have product, your product, and then what word can you think of when you see the word, or rather the part of the word activity? Exactly, right? See, it's very obvious. Product and activity. If you want to arrive at a quality product, you need to have several activities to get there. That's what productivity simply means. But let's refer to what most dictionaries say. According to most dictionaries, when you are productive, you are producing something in abundance. In Tagalog, madami. So, madami nga ba? Yes. Well, mahirap naman mag-overproduction. Right? Yung tama lang. Okay, next. When you are productive, it says here, you are effective, or maybe an even better word is efficient. You are efficient in bringing about or producing your desired outputs or outcomes. Of course, at the end of the day, it's not only the products we're talking about, right? It's not only what you guys manufacture. It's also your processes and even the improvement, growth, and development of you, the best resource in the company. And who is or are the best resource in the company? Everybody shout, employees! Employees! Could you please say, ako yun! Ay, mali, selfish pag ako yun eh. Kami yun! Ikaw lang, ikaw lang best resource, di mo dinamay yung iba. Okay. And last but not least, when you are productive, you are yielding results, benefits, or profits. But, you know what? I want to share this with you. This is not part of the presentation because some companies think that for as long as they are meeting or exceeding their revenues and profit targets, they're already a successful company. It's not enough. I am a balanced scorecard ambassador. Let me repeat the word so it sticks in your head. Balanced scorecard. Everybody please say balanced scorecard. Balanced scorecard. So we all know what a scorecard is, right? You know, our KPIs, our KRAs. And we know what the word balanced is. What is Tagalog of balanced? Pag sinabi mong balansyado, parang Spanish. Eh? Balance. Ano ba? Pantay? Right? So, financial success is not the only measuring stick of a company's success, tandaan yan. It's just one of the 4 perspectives of the balanced scorecard. So what are the other 3? So let me share with you now because you want to work hard for also succeeding in the other 3. Right, second would be customer perspective. Okay, ano daw? Right. You may be achieving your revenue or profit targets, but the question is, are your clients or customers truly happy, satisfied, or contented? If you are not giving a confident yes, then there's a problem or there's something missing. So, what are the other 2? The other 2 would be, all right, would be internal processes. Ano daw? Right? So it's like, okay, you're meeting or exceeding your revenue targets, your clients or customers say they're happy, satisfied, and contented, but your internal processes, okay, are very problematic. And we're gonna talk some more about that. Okay, and last but not least would be organizational capacity. What is it again? Organizational capacity. So you are exceeding your revenue targets, your clients are happy, your internal processes are perfect, although there are no perfect processes, I'm just saying, okay? But your employees are not happy, right? Your structure is problematic, your culture is problematic, you're still not entirely successful as a company. Okay, so going back, productivity. You want to yield results, benefits, or profits? Okay, make sure that you are targeting each of those 4 perspectives of the balanced scorecard that I referred to. Are you guys with me? Yes. If you guys are with me, could you please give yourselves dalawang You see? Oh, what's wrong with the resources? I'm trying to guide you to the answer I'm looking for. Right? You try to innovate because the way things are, it seems that they have to be better. Because you see what? Problems. You see issues. And if you are also looking out for the competition outside, You have been observing that your competitors have been doing it better than you. So you don't want to be left behind. Therefore, you innovate. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So that's it. Meeting or delivering your customers' demands. Because that's being very transactional. Right? What is being transactional? It means, okay, it's time to go to work. You clock or time in. You do your job as per your job description. You operate the machine. You produce the needed, outputs or quota for the day. And then once you're done and it seems you're satisfied, you clock or time out, you go home. That's it. That's being very transactional. And if you want to be a culture or environment of innovation, you have to make it a thing of the past. You cannot get stuck in that because that's the usual dilemma of manufacturing companies, the transactional nature of your work. You agree? Right? So, productivity is not only delivering the goods. It is also about continuous innovation. Okay? And supervisors have a very big role to play. Let me recognize the supervisors, and up here, raise your hands with pride. Come on, don't be shy. Alright, so I believe everybody is a supervisor. Pinataas ko pa ng kamay, di ba? Lahat po kami supervisor. Okay, so what do you think is that very big role for you to play if you want to have a culture of innovation in Primatech? What do you think? There are no wrong answers. If you want to share something, go ahead. Okay, you are looking for imperfections of the company, not just for the heck of it, but to get rid of them. Right? So we need to critique. What do we need to critique? Every single day, guys, it's your obligation. Yes, I want to use the word obligation. Yes, there's a strong level of obligation for you to assess yourself, especially in your department. What do we assess? Of course, to feel good, go ahead and emphasize what you've been doing good so far. And I'm not going to ask you one by one what you've been doing good so far in your department. But this is about critiquing. So you have to let surface what you've not been doing good well so far in your respective departments. Paano namin masisilip yan? Mentor Myron. Okay, so there is this tool. You know what? It's a very cliche tool, but it's still effective. Okay, and even years from now, it's still gonna be effective. And that is called SWOT analysis. Could you please repeat that? SWOT analysis. Who are practitioners of or tool users of SWOT here? Opportunities and threats. It's also called internal-external analysis because the strengths and the weaknesses talk about your internal affairs, whereas the opportunities and threats talk about your external affairs. So what do you mean by conducting a self-assessment of our departmental practices, Mentor Myron? Okay, let's start with the internal analysis. See, you have to look into your department strengths. And to help you not miss out on any important aspect, I always share what I call the M's of operations. What are the M's of operations? Okay? You look into the internal strengths and weaknesses of milieu. Milieu is your working environment. Alright? So there is 5S, there's 5S plus 2, right? But that's only the physicality of your working environment. Milieu also covers culture. And culture, guys, is not tangible. You may be the best 7S compliant working environment, but if your culture is poor, it will definitely reflect in your employees' actions and behaviors as well. Okay? So as you fix your working environment physical-wise, you also have to fix your culture, the intangible ones. And how do you fix those? You have to let your people embody your values. Right? You have values? Okay, make use of those. You don't have values yet? Then you have to make a set. Okay? Management, guys, this is the aspect of operations that a lot of people are very scared. Not really to look into, but sometimes you have to challenge as well. Why? Because the management talks about you. How often do you get feedback from your subordinates? That's a very scary thing to do, Myron. Get feedback from our subordinates. They're lower than us. Then stop being hierarchical. Right? That's the reason why you're afraid of getting feedback from your subordinates, because you have a very hierarchical to a fault culture or working environment. You know what? Post-pandemic, they say, what really works nowadays is a very non-hierarchical department. Meaning, everybody is equal. Your titles are merely functional differences. Do I make sense? Right? My role as a manager, right, does not separate myself from my people. It's merely a functional role, which says I should manage people. Right? But it should not go up here, if you get what I mean. Okay? So, when we talk about management, you also critique. Do we already have the knowledge, the skills, and the attitude needed post-pandemic, or we need to update our competencies and character as well? Here. Now, once this is taken care of, now you can go down to your subordinates, and you also fix the same things: their knowledge, their skills, their attitude. Right? And then, maybe you have the best people on your team, but you have to look into your methods as well. You know, your practices, your policies, your procedures, right? And it's not even talking about just ISO compliance and all that. It's much more than that. Sometimes, you know, no offense to, I love ISO, but sometimes ISO is not perfect itself either, right? There are provisions of the ISO that sometimes are anti or counterproductive, but you have to make it work for you, not against you, right? Next would be machines, materials. Of course, those are what? The physical resources that help you manufacture your goods. Measures there. You know what? We also have to constantly critique our measures. Maybe we need to update our measures, right? Meaning your KRAs, your KPIs, your scorecard. Or maybe we have to replace them. Or maybe we have to add more KRAs, KPIs. See, that's a continuous process. Money, of course, what makes the world go round, right? Money, but this is not basically money per se. This is budgetary, okay? And of course, minutes, that's talking about time. Okay, that's the M for time. And actually, there are so much more M's there that I didn't have time to include anymore. But those are the major ones. Okay? So once again, self-assessing your departmental practices would be looking into your strengths. What do you do to strengths? Come on, Myron. They're already strengths. What else do we do to them? Oh, do not be complacent. Not because a process is already a strength, you don't improve it anymore. Because there's a word called what? Level up. Right? Continue to enhance even your already good processes. Do I make sense? Now, what do you do to your weaknesses? I have this acronym I call, it's not in the presentation, so I'm going to share them with you instead. I have this acronym called, what do you do to weaknesses? Let me answer that. Remember the acronym CREATE. So what does that stand for? C, when something is wrong, correct it. Everybody please say correct. Correct. R, when something already needs to be replaced, replace it. Or okay, if it's something like documentation, revise it. That will do as well. That's an R as well. Okay? If something is good, it just needs to be enhanced further, then you E, enhance it. Everybody please say enhance. Enhance. Maybe what you're doing is just not aligned with the company's vision and mission. So you just have to A, align. Everybody please say align. Align. Maybe you are doing something that's too ahead of its time. You just have to properly time it. T, time. And maybe something is already, what? Unnecessary. You need to kick it out of the picture. So we call that eliminate. Okay? So remember that. Create. Okay? But of course, editors do these things as well. Right? And you also look out for the negative ones, the threats. What might get in the way that you have to either what? Kick out of the way, counter, or avoid. So that's the beauty of doing SWOT. And that is innovation. You want to innovate? Do something as simple as SWOT. Assess your departmental practices. Okay? Do I make sense? Yes. Let me know. I know we only have 1 hour here, but if you have any question or clarification, go ahead. Okay? Our internal weaknesses. You have to find what your bottlenecks are. What are bottlenecks? Okay? So you know what those things are that slow you down or that stop your progress. Do something about them, guys. Inefficiencies. By definition, what is an inefficiency? It is something that is wasteful of time or energy. What is that? What are those? Right? Address them. Okay, and of course, your other, no, not yet, maybe, okay? All right, so what has made Toyota a very famous manufacturing leader or template in best? Awesome, right? Another innovation best practice that they are famous for would be the Pokayoke. Raise your hands if you're familiar with this. Yes, well, this is mistake proofing, error prevention. See, all of us, or most of us here are drivers. You cannot shift gears unless you press on what? If it's automatic transmission, unless you press on the brake for most automatic vehicles, right? That is an example of Pokayoke itself. That is error prevention. For you not to commit any mistake of wrong transmission, then the first step is for you to step on the brake pedal. Then you shift gears. That's an example of Pokayoke. Okay? And because of this, or these mechanisms, so they're able to prevent defects and mistakes. Awesome, right? That's an output or outcome of innovation. What else? Andon system. Who's familiar with that? Excuse my Japanese pronunciation if I'm mispronouncing it, but I just want to read it Tagalogized version. Andon system. What is Andon system? See, in the production of Toyota, there are times they have to pause, maybe not stop, the better word is pause. They have to pause production once they identify a problem or a defect. It's better that way than letting defective products reach the customer. So it's okay to pause for now and resolve the problem, right? Because quality product is more important than simply speed, right? You met the deadline, but you delivered a problematic product, so it's still a problem. That's Andon system. Just innovation. Mamaya, I will share with you another model company that has really created an environment that encourages or promotes innovation. Okay, we will talk about that later on. Okay, yan. Make this an addiction. Make this a habit. Not just a habit or a routine. Make this a passion. Everybody please say passion. Passion. There. Brainstorm and generate ideas as a habit. Because innovations come from brainstorming. From ideas generation, correct? Yes. So that's why you have to familiarize yourselves with or master different ideas generation or brainstorming methods out there. What are you familiar with? For a start, I can enumerate some. So listen to me because it's not part of the presentation. You can Google nominal group technique. Okay, nominal group technique. You have to be very fast at taking down notes. You can Google mind mapping. Let me know if anybody is familiar with those I'm talking about. SWOT analysis is a brainstorming tool itself. Okay, FIMEA. You guys know FIMEA? What is FIMEA? Failure modes and effects analysis. That's a brainstorming tool itself. Right? What else? Google the 6 Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. Right? Because you need to have a structure or a process for brainstorming procedurally. Okay, brainstorming is not as simple as, anong gagawin natin ngayon? Anong i-innovate natin? O ito yung problema sa harap natin, anong solution natin? It's not as simple as that. You need to be very structured and strategic with your approach. So it helps if you know those, brainstorm. Team members. Nurture. What do you guys mean by nurture? In Tagalog, it's what? Another way of saying it would be enrich. So, in Tagalog, what is enrich? Palaguin. Ano pa? Pagyamanin. Sige, payabungin. There, you have to enrich creativity among your team members. Okay, now let me give you an example. What do you exactly mean by that, Myron? Of course, I would be surprised if you guys don't know this company. If you are talking about the top 5 best employers, start streamlining your process. Right? Remember the acronym CREATE, right? So do not just ignore if there are processes inside your company that you believe that you've never really been happy about. I'm not gonna ask you what those are, right? If you have processes internally that you've never really been happy about and you're just putting up with them, why not start improving them tomorrow? If you have a long process, shorten it. If you have a complicated process, make it simple. Right? If you have a difficult process, then make it easy. It's as easy as that. Let's not make life complicated. But of course, without setting aside compliance. See, usually, customer service and quality vis-a-vis compliance, sometimes they clash. They clash with each other, right? So just strike a balance between both of them. Okay? And of course, if you are in the manufacturing practice, it's really very helpful if you are gonna implement lean manufacturing, Six Sigma principles, right? By any chance, are there belters here in Six Sigma? So it's not too late yet to maybe get certified in Six Sigma and get a belt, because of course, one of the really very helpful practices of Six Sigma would be in the manufacturing environment, right? Of course, we don't have the luxury of time to talk some more about those. After all, I'm not an expert of Six Sigma, but on my team in MSS Business Solutions as a training and consultancy company, promote pa ako, di ba? If you guys would like to get certified in Six Sigma, right, of course, we have an expert on the team to help you with that. Just let us know how we can help. There, of course, you guys already know this. I just have to remind you that there are new technologies out there that you guys can invest in if you would like to further enhance your productivity. Agree? Of course, you have to take advantage of, automation, robotics. What else? What are the other technologies you can, of course, new CNC machines, right? 3D printing, etc. You guys are more expert in this than I am. Okay? Implement best practices for resource management. Be it people, your machines, your funds, or your time, or even energy. Okay? But you know what? There's something you have to prepare for, guys. I hope that at this point, you're already appreciating more innovation. Yes? Yes. Nasa talagang mag-innovate, no? If you want to become a leader in your industry. But expect, guys, expect that there is something you have to take care of as you innovate, because you want to become more productive in your capacity. And that's gonna be this. Change. Ayan. Change. Ano ang role ng supervisors? Okay? Because introducing something new in the company is not gonna be a walk in the park, tama? Especially your employees, your subordinates. At first, they're not gonna appreciate it. They're gonna challenge it. They're not gonna support it. They're gonna resist. So your role as supervisors and managers should be, you have to become change agents, right? You have to help people move from point A to point B. How do you do that? Because you have to overcome resistance to change. And ano yung usual reply or reaction when there's something new? Pwede bang basahin niya? Everybody go! This is the way we've always done it and there are no problems at all. Why change? Tagal na natin itong ginagawa ng ganito. Wala namang problema. Ba't magbabago pang? Ba't kayo pa? Pwede bang yung nakagawian na lang? Di ba? Sino yung mga ganyan mag-react? O yan, may change na naman. Okay? Kaya nga, totoo ito. Totoo itong quote that came from former US President Woodrow Wilson. Ano yung sinabi niya about change? If you wanna make enemies, try to change something. If you wanna make enemies out of your employees, try to change something. Tingnan mo, tindi ng backlash niyan sa simula. Okay? Pero, ika-counter ko yan. I have a quotable quote on that. Si Mentor Myron akong advice. Oh, innovation yun, di ba? Okay, so everybody, could you please read this with me? What doesn't challenge us doesn't change us. And what doesn't change us doesn't make us grow. Tama? It makes sense? Yes. Right? Kaya pwede ba tingnan mo yung katabi mo, this time yung katabi mo sa kaliwa, tingnan mo. Oh, kaya magbago ka na, ha? Sabihin mo sa kanya, magbago ka na, ha? It's not too late to change, ha? If you want to progress, you have to change. Right? Embrace change. It's positive, not negative. Okay, so Mentor Myron, it's easier said than done, eh. Right? Okay, we introduce something new because we want to innovate, but then here comes our employees. Ano ba yan? Ang tagal natin itong ginagawa this way, magbabago pa. Oh, may mga kasamang cost yan. Right? So what you can do, guys, is simply you have to communicate the vision behind the innovation project or the productivity initiative. You simply have to help them answer the following questions. Okay? And you have to be very good at positive scripting, ha? Hindi yung antagonizing yung employees nyo. Okay, first question you have to help them answer and realize would be, why are we doing this? Why do we have to change? Alright, did you guys have to introduce something new lately? Meron? So, yan. Sagutin niyo yung tanong na yan. Halimbawa, ikaw yung employee ko. Right? Alam mo, kaya natin ini-implement tong bago na ito kasi, see? And then, fill in the blanks. Kailangan niya. Kasi di ba ang vision natin is to become the number one in injection molding. So, we won't achieve that unless we do this. So, that's the answer to the why. O, di ba? Na-disconnect, di ba? Okay. Ito kasi, why are we doing this? Malalaman at mauunawaan lang nila. They're just gonna know and understand it. But it's not enough to make people support a change if they only know and understand it, correct? They have to appreciate it. So what will take care of appreciation? Ayan, help them answer the question, what's in it for you? Right? So, dyan mo na ibabalanda yung ano, well, what's in it for you? If you support the change, there's a possibility of promotion. Yay! There's a possibility of performance incentive behind it. Yay! Ano pa mga positive reinforcement? What are the other positive reinforcements to make people appreciate change? Ano pa? Promotion? Bonus? Performance incentive? Ano pa? Rewards and recognition. And last but not least, sabi nila mababaw daw ito eh. Why are we doing this? It will take care of knowledge and understanding of the change, right? What's in it for us? It will take care of the appreciation. But sometimes, it's only short term, right? They support now, but it doesn't last long, correct? So, the big picture is still, how do we get there, right? Okay, I know and understand we have to change. Okay, I appreciate it now because there's something in return for me if I appreciate it. But the question is, you have to empower me. How do we get there? How do we move from point A to point B? Oh, don't worry. We're going to support you all throughout. Right? We're going to be with you every step of the way until change becomes permanent. Until change becomes what? Normal. Okay? So we won't leave you behind unless we normalize things. It's become standard. Do I make sense, guys? Alright, bilang pagtapos, no, we have to create a culture of continuous improvement, right? Develop a culture of continuous improvement. Like what I said, guys, every single day, do not let yourselves be eaten up alive by the routine or drill nature of your work. You time in, you do your job for the day, you go home. No. Let it be a new routine or habit for you to look for problems and solve them. To think of creative and innovative ideas that you've never done, you've never seen, you've never shown, you've never said before. And let's start implementing them moving forward. Okay, eto pa isa, guys. This is very important. There is no culture of innovation that does not love feedback. Do you guys love feedback? Do you hunger or thirst for feedback? Please do. That's why you have to develop a culture of coaching and counseling. Everybody please say coaching. Coaching. Everybody please say counseling. Counseling. Okay? And you have to formalize it. You have to make it a structure. When your people have performance issues, you find time at least once a week to coach them on their knowledge and skills problems. Find time for it. You know what? It really irks me. It really makes me angry every time I tell people they have to do this. But then the supervisors and managers would say, naku, Mentor Myron, dami na po namin ginagawa. Di na namin masisingit niyang mag-coach ng tao. I'm sorry, that's an excuse. That's an alibi. So, guys, don't make it an excuse or alibi that you don't have time to coach your people. Okay? You have to coach them. It doesn't have to be long. It may just be 5, 10, or 15 minutes. Just coach them. Talk about their strengths. Talk about their areas for improvement, be it knowledge, skills, or character. That's it. That's already coaching. And then document it through a coaching log and then make them sign on it. That's a formal coaching. And that is what? A culture of feedback sharing. Because innovations come from problems, issues, or mistakes. Right? Pero, do not tolerate repetitive mistakes. Because it's not good anymore. It's already what? If it's already intentional repetition of mistakes, it's already stupidity on their end. Correct? Okay, and we never tolerate it. Especially in an industry that's very fond of precision, of accuracy, manufacturing. Okay? And ayan, right? Well, at the end of the day, hindi naman lahat tayo yung martir eh. Diba? Boss, okay lang. Ako yung empleyado na I would think of the innovation and I'm not expecting for something in return. Tutot mo. Ganun talaga. It's always there. You need to positively reinforce it. You want to encourage your people to take the initiative to think of new, creative, innovative ideas. There must be something in return to gratify them. Correct? Alright, so na-mention ko na yung kanina. Promotion, incentive, bonus, or what gratifies you? Medal? Certificate? Plaque? Ano? GC? What gratifies you? Para lang mag-isip kayo ng mga innovative, creative ideas. Salary increase? Oh, di ba? Everybody, let's say, mukhang pera. Okay, I'm just kidding. But yes, whatever gratifies you, okay, whatever pleases you, then that must be a good recognition and reward system for you. So that you can, what? You can support, what? Enrich, innovative, and productive initiatives. You guys agree? Yes. Okay. So, ako, outsider ako, as a resource speaker, yung malasakit ko nandoon eh. Right? Ibig sabihin, I'm not the one of you, but I know you guys are aiming for this. Okay? Ulitin nga natin. What is success ng Prima Tech? You wanna be what? Everybody has shout it and say it with passion, with love. We wanna be the number one what? Oh, ulitin natin. Hindi sabay-sabay eh. We wanna be the, okay, sabayan niyo ko ha. Number one injection molding company in the world. Go! And you guys now know that to get there, we need to innovate, which will contribute to productivity. Okay? But guys, eto, konti na lang po. Just a few slides left. You know what? We're talking about the need to innovate, appreciate, innovate here, innovate that, because you want to become productive. But totoo lang, hindi naman kayo mag-i-innovate eh, kung wala kayong malasakit. It all starts with malasakit. What is malasakit? You guys want to be productive? Could you please read this with feelings? 1, 2, 3, go. One key to productivity is treating your work as your own little company and you are the owner. Right? And because you are the owner, you're not gonna let it go bankrupt. You're not gonna let it close down. You're not gonna let it do poorly. Tama? Okay, you're the HR head. You are the junior CEO of HR. You take ownership. You show compassion, malasakit. Kasi pag ang empleyado walang malasakit, kahit sinasabi ng external speaker, mag-innovate ka. Right? Beneficial yan sa mga company. Diyan, naging successful ang mga company. Be like Toyota. At anong sabihin ng speaker kung wala kang puso malasakit na para bang pag-aari mo si Primatech, di ka naman mag-innovate eh. Tama? Yes. Do I make sense? So yan po talaga ang first step. Right? Have malasakit. So let me ask you that. Right? Tapatan na tayo. No, and I know you're gonna say the positive. Siyempre, kasama natin ang ating management at ayaw nyo na ipahiya ang sarili nyo sa external speaker, di ba? So taas kamay nang magsasabing, Mentor Myron, may malasakit ako kay Primatech because parang akin to. O, di ba? Wala? Nagdalawang isip pa eh, di ba? Alright, palakpakan nyo nga ang bawat isa. And then, once you're confident, you have that malasakit, you have that sense of ownership, then, the next step is, huwag niyong hayaan na lumipas lang ang isang learning session. Hindi sabihin niyo, uy, nag-invest ang company sa learning session, good. Pero, pagbalik ng opisina, wala, balik lang din sa dati. So, para saan lahat ng ito? So, the next step, guys, you have to take immediate action. Okay? Pwede bang tingnan mo uli ang katabi mo? This time, maging fair ka. Kung kaliwa man o kanan, kung sino mas paborito, bahala ka na. Kung kanino ka titingin. Okay? Pwede bang i-challenge nyo ang mga sarili nyo? Right? Could you please raise your right hand para tayo mag-oath taking? Right? Raise your right hand. Okay? Tumingin ka sa katabi mo. Kasi kayo ang magtutulungan dito eh. Okay? Everybody, repeat after me. Right? While looking at your seatmate, ha? Friend, go, friend. I commit to innovating and being more productive starting tomorrow. So help us God. You may not put down your hands. Ayan ha. Okay, so ako po magcha-challenge sa inyo. Okay? Sina-challenge ko kayo na maging champions of innovation and productivity. Right? Huwag niyong hayaan na lumipas lang ang 1-hour learning session na ito. Na, okay, FYI. Pero hindi nyo naman ginawa ng action. Okay? Do you commit with your life talaga? Do you commit na bukas magsisimula na ang application ng learnings from Mentor Myron? Okay, so I wanna learn of the good news, the great news that this company would have become more successful because of your innovation projects and productivity programs. Okay, muli, ito po ang inyong lingkod, Mentor Myron Sta. Maraming salamat.